Hello everyone, and welcome to The Secret History. For nearly 30 years, Alcatraz was known as America's most escape-proof prison. But on one cold night in June 1962, 3 prisoners disappeared without a trace. Did they drown in the freezing waters of San Francisco Bay? Or did they achieve the greatest prison escape in American history? Let's uncover the mystery. The story begins on a small rocky island in the middle of San Francisco Bay, surrounded by cold water, powerful currents, and constant patrols. Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary was considered the most secure prison in America. The government believed no prisoner could ever escape. Even if someone made it beyond the prison walls, they would still have to survive nearly 2 kilometers of freezing water before reaching the mainland. Among the inmates were 3 men who refused to believe the prison was impossible to escape. Frank Morris, along with brothers John and Clarence Anglin, quietly began planning what many believed could never be done. For months they worked in complete secrecy. Using simple tools they had secretly collected, they slowly chipped away at the concrete walls hidden behind the air vents in their cell. Every night, while music played during the prison's practice hour, they continued digging. No guard noticed what was happening just a few meters away. By the time anyone realized something was wrong, their plan was almost complete. As the weeks passed, the escape plan became more daring. The men carefully widened the holes behind their cell vents until they were just large enough to crawl through. Behind the prison walls was an unused utility corridor that guards rarely inspected. It became their secret workshop. Using stolen raincoats, they stitched together a homemade inflatable raft and life jackets. They even built wooden paddles from scraps they found around the prison. But their most brilliant idea was designed to fool the guards. They created lifelike dummy heads using soap, toilet paper, and concrete dust. They painted realistic faces, added real human hair collected from the prison barber, and placed the heads on their pillows each night. From a distance, the guards believed the prisoners were asleep. Everything was ready. Now they only needed the perfect night to disappear forever. On the night of June 11th, 1962, the plan was finally put into action. After lights out, Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers quietly placed the dummy heads on their beds and covered them with blankets. From the hallway, everything looked perfectly normal. One by one, they squeezed through the openings behind their cell vents and entered the narrow utility corridor hidden inside the prison walls. Moving silently through the darkness, they climbed to the roof using exposed pipes. Every step had to be perfect. A single noise could alert the guards and end the escape before it truly began. Once outside, they carefully made their way down the side of the prison building and reached the shoreline without being seen. There, hidden among the rocks, was the homemade raft they had spent months building. The moment had finally arrived. With the freezing waters of San Francisco Bay waiting in front of them, the 3 men pushed the raft into the darkness and disappeared into the night. The next morning, prison guards began their routine inspection. At first, everything appeared normal. The prisoners seemed to be asleep in their beds. But when one guard tried to wake Frank Morris, the head rolled onto the floor. It wasn't a person. It was a carefully crafted dummy. The alarm echoed across Alcatraz. Guards rushed through every cell, only to discover that Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin had vanished. A massive search operation began immediately. FBI agents, prison officers, helicopters, Coast Guard boats, and search teams combed the waters of San Francisco Bay. For days they searched every possible location. The cold water, strong currents, and rocky shoreline made survival seem almost impossible. Then investigators found a few strange clues: a homemade life jacket, part of a wooden paddle, and pieces of a damaged rubber raft floating in the bay. But there was one thing they never found: the 3 escapees. The FBI quickly concluded that escaping from Alcatraz was one thing, but surviving San Francisco Bay was another. The water temperature was just above freezing. Powerful currents could sweep even experienced swimmers out into the Pacific Ocean. Within minutes, For years, officials insisted that Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers had drowned during their escape. But the evidence told a different story. No bodies were ever recovered. No clothing was found. And despite one of the largest manhunts in American history, not a single confirmed trace of the three men was ever discovered. Then, years later, new clues began to appear. Family members of the Anglin brothers claimed they had received mysterious postcards and even flowers signed anonymously on special occasions. Some relatives also believed the brothers secretly returned home years after the escape. Although none of these claims could ever be proven, they kept the mystery alive and raised one unforgettable question. What if the impossible escape had actually succeeded? For decades, the mystery remained unsolved. Then, in 2013, the San Francisco Police Department received a handwritten letter that shocked investigators. The writer claimed to be John Anglin, one of the escaped prisoners. In the letter, he wrote that all three men had survived the escape from Alcatraz. He claimed that Frank Morris had died years earlier, and Clarence Anglin had also passed away. According to the letter, John himself was elderly, suffering from cancer, and wanted to make a deal with the authorities. The FBI examined the letter, but they could never confirm whether it was genuine or simply another hoax. Even today, experts continue to debate the case. Did three prisoners really accomplish the impossible? Or did San Francisco Bay claim their lives on that cold June night? Until undeniable evidence is discovered, the truth remains one of America's greatest unsolved mysteries. More than 60 years have passed since the escape from Alcatraz, yet no one can say with certainty what happened that night. Some historians believe Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers drowned in the freezing waters of San Francisco Bay. Others believe they successfully escaped and spent the rest of their lives under new identities. The truth is that no bodies were ever found. No undeniable evidence has ever proved that they died or that they survived. That uncertainty is exactly why this case continues to fascinate millions of people around the world. Perhaps one day, a forgotten document, a hidden photograph, or a long-lost piece of evidence will finally reveal the truth. But until that day comes, the escape from Alcatraz remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history. Thank you for watching The Secret History. What do you think? Did Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers survive the escape? Or did the waters of San Francisco Bay claim their lives forever? Share your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more true historical mysteries. Until next time, keep questioning history, because sometimes the greatest secrets are the ones history never answered.